Hey fam, welcome back to my channel, Lipedema. Today I'm going to be talking to you about something super exciting. It's vaguely related to one of the posts that I did a couple of months ago on VA disability rating, but there's also a part of this that is just super exciting to me because I am going to get my surgery done and I have a date. So I'm going to split the video into two different ones so that people who are veterans can find the information that they're looking for more readily. I might reference it in this video, but this won't be the deep dive. In this video, I want to talk a little bit about what happened with regular insurance and why I'm actually not going to use that insurance to move forward, but then also what I'm doing to prepare, what my dates are for it, and what I think is going to be happening. All right, so let's get into it. So maybe about, gosh, it's almost been a year now. I was approved for surgery with a different provider, right? So that was back in January of this year. And the provider was someone, a doctor in a state nearby to me, but not in the same state. And he was not in network with my insurance. And if you'd like to know what insurance I have, like please DM me. I can tell you it's an insurance that starts with an A. So I went through the process of getting a pre-approval and a single case agreement with my insurance provider for this out-of-network doctor. They went back and forth, the doctor and my insurance company, because the doctor refused to move forward until he had like a number in writing about what the insurance would pay. My understanding is that honestly, a lot of doctors are getting lowballed by insurance, or they're getting not anything that's in concrete writing from insurance companies, and so then they are exposed. My experience has been that it feels a little bit less altruistic, a little bit less like even and fair. It feels a little bit more like people are just trying to make sure that they get what they want to get, which fair enough, right? It's your business. So I was kind of in the wings waiting for this to all be figured out between the doctor and the insurance, and time was ticking. And I think if you've seen my other videos, you know, I'm very interested in making sure that I'm not going to be doing my surgeries during the summer because I think we have a limited number of summers in our lifetime. And I personally love summer. It's my favorite time of year. And I want to make sure that there's nothing that's going to keep me from going swimming or just laying on the beach and getting probably more sun damage if I'm honest. But laying out and enjoying my life in the summer, it's something that's really important to me. So as we were getting closer and closer, time was moving. My first date that he had promised for surgery went by. The second date went by. There seemed to be like this really long gap. And then like months later is when I got the notice like, hey, we're ready to schedule you. And I was like, gosh. So if I'm honest, it wasn't my only concern about this particular doctor. I had already been online. I'd read some things that gave me pause. And so I was really looking to see like what other options might be available to me. And in the interim, I had done like two other interviews. And I say interview because that's what one of the doctors actually referred to it as, with local doctors who were on a website that said they would be doctors really familiar with lipedema. So spoiler alert, neither of them actually was very familiar with it. One had only a handful of patients and the other one had been working with lipedema patients for less than a year. And when we had the conversation, he seemed a little bit nervous about the fact that I wanted him to tell me what his approach would be. He seemed very interested in what the other doctor had suggested as an approach. And so that just didn't give me a warm fuzzy either. But eventually I decided that if I had second thoughts about a doctor, I just shouldn't move forward with it. So I rang up my insurance and I said, hey, look, I've gotten this approval. I don't think this is the right doctor. I want to continue looking for different doctors because I have these concerns. And my insurance said, sure, no problem. Like, here's your, the person that you'll work with. You can reach out to her anytime. They're going to help you. That didn't work out kind of the way it was portrayed to work out. I would say that I didn't get very much assistance from my insurance company at all. But at the time, I really didn't need it because I knew where I was going. I knew I'd had the approval and I knew exactly how to put that approval package together. Now, if you'd like some information on how to do that, I'm really thinking about how I might be able to package that up for consumption for people. So if that's something that's interesting to you, please let me know. But so I went through the process of kind of looking for other doctors, did a few more interviews, and then I found the one. And she's actually located really close to me. I'm in the Virginia area, and she's actually in the nation's capital. So super close to me. And I have a very good friend who lives very close to where this doctor works. So I'm like, this is like perfect because that's where I can do like my immediate rest and recuperation. It's going to be at my best friend's house. Okay, so great. No worries. Better yet, this doctor is in network. with my insurance company. I'm like, this is the best thing ever. Was the doctor's office a little bit chaotic when I went? Yes, it was. Did I find out from my doctor's office that the person who was helping like with her scheduling was actually transitioning to another role? Yes, I did. So that doesn't give you a lot of warm fuzzy feelings because like there's like suddenly this urge to like let's move quickly, let's get this insurance done again. But in my mind, I was like, this is going to be the easiest thing ever. I got approved for an out of network doctor, and they definitely negotiated the price that they wanted before they came back and said yes. So, and I would say definitely, I feel like it was more in the doctor's office being disorganized, which was another one of the reasons that I was like, I don't know about that. So I felt like I was under pressure, but this would be easier, right? This is an in-network doctor. Like, how difficult could it be? So imagine my surprise when it came back as disapproved. And the reason that it was disapproved didn't seem to be like at all questioned, by the doctor's office. So the assistant who was helping just basically said, let's look at your other insurance because I'm military and prior service military. I'm retired now. And I was like, but this doesn't make any sense. Like she's an in-network doctor. Like I think this is just one of those things you need to go back and appeal. So I went through, I showed her the approval. I was like, what you requested when I looked at what she had sent to the insurance company looked a lot like skin excisions and didn't really even talk about like the liposuction, limb-sparing liposuction for me, which I thought was so strange because my doctor hadn't even really discussed like skin excisions with me. Could I use it? I don't know. I think I probably have lost enough weight that it would make sense to do that, but it's not something that's a priority for me. I really just want to get the lipedema done, and I'm not interested in that recovery time for the skin. It just seems like it's a lot. And I also think that I have a little noise in my head about just what the aesthetics of that are going to look like. And also just like how much it's going to impact my life while I'm waiting for it. Because I like inner thigh, like, oh, just the thought of it. It's a lot. I'm a little squeamish. I get it. Okay, so I was kind of like, hey, I think you should just look at the pre-approval that I already had done and then resubmit with those codes, which are the same ones that the doctor is going to be doing, because clearly it was just a mistake, like an error on their office's side where they kind of asked for the wrong thing from the insurance company. So the feedback that I got from the doctor's office was that my doctor was not able to do the operation or any of the operations under the codes that were there, which is super strange to me, at least with this particular insurance company. So this is definitely like above and beyond anything that I understand, but apparently you have to be rated for certain codes to be able to action them with certain insurance companies. And until you have that, then you just can't, whether or not the reality is you're doing it anyway, or you can do it with other insurance companies. So the process that I was explained was like she'll actually go and talk to her, like the doctor that she reports into and the chief of surgery, I think, so that she could have that added to her portfolio. And I could expect that to be a few months. So that was depressing. And I was willing to go ahead and just like, I'll do the appeal. Like, this is silly. We shouldn't have to do like these particular codes. I felt like just an appeal would make sense. And that's what my insurance company was saying as well. And then that assistant left. So without having the admin assistant to kind of help me get the information, she assured me like someone else is going to be coming in and they'll take over right where I left off. But I kind of really felt down for a long time because I finally found the doctor and I was really confident in the level of care. And the odd thing about this too is that like for most doctors, you're hoping that you can find someone who has experience with the doctor to say like, hey, how was this person? How did they do? And you have to hope that they're going to give you an honest assessment. In this case, I kind of had this extra in because the doctor was actually located really close to the VA facility in Washington, D.C. And so when I was talking to my VA healthcare provider, I happened to mention this doctor, and he was like, oh, that's actually the doctor that we would refer you to anyway. So I thought, oh, well, that's interesting. It's like, do you know her? And he's like, yeah, actually, she's amazing. So that part was great. I was like, wow, I have someone who has absolutely no reason to give me like any inflated sense of it. And he's telling me like, this is the person that they refer people to. And I loved that. So that gave me even more of a like warm, but cozy, comfy feeling that this was the right doc, right? So, having found out that I wasn't going to be able to move forward with my insurance without doing an appeal, and now knowing that I wasn't going to have a lot of help from her office in being able to coordinate that appeal, I felt stuck and I felt depressed. And I kept looking over all of the videos that I've done. I kept looking at all of the details from how much weight I'd lost in my legs to ask myself, like, can I be okay with this? Like, what if I just didn't move forward? Because it just seemed like so hard. And I was like, if I have to wait another 3 months, and she actually does get approved for these codes, and that's great. Ultimately, I looked at all of the data and I know that I have to move forward. I don't want to end up with any more of the cuffing than I have right now. And I can only lose so much weight and so much of the other parts of my body without having my legs impacted. Like it's not sustainable or scalable. Okay. So my best friend, I was chatting with her, super upset about it, just trying to get the benefit of like her advice. And she's someone who actually works with veterans healthcare. And so she said to me, did you ask the VA if they might be able to handle this for you? So mind blown. It never even occurred to me that I might be able to do that. Fast forward, one day, approved. Like that crazy, right? So the great news story is that I no longer have to worry about my insurance company, my civilian insurance company, handling this or not. I have the doctor that I want, and as of today, I have the date. So it's going to be in February. And the reason for that is because we're going to be doing a cruise. In my last video, I mentioned that we were about to do our Christmas cruise, which my best friend always organizes for this time of year to a very warm, sunny, beautiful place. And it kind of helps with the onset of the winter blues, which honestly, I feel it a little bit. I can tell the weather's changing and I'm not a fan. So I'll do this cruise. I'll enjoy getting all of that great sun, get a couple of moments with family, friends, that it's really wonderful where I'm not limited by anything. And then we'll come back in February and get it done. Maybe even a little trip overseas because we might be going to visit a sister friend in the UK. So I wanted to share that with you. I'm super pumped. I'm going to be meeting with my doctor again in January to do the final prep before surgery and then to find out all the things that I need to do to get my lymphatic drainage massage therapist scheduled and all of the things. And I've got my shopping list for all the things that I need to have for surgery, and I found a lot of them on Amazon. I actually kind of had them from previous because I was planning on getting surgery almost a year ago. So I'll share that down below so that folks can get an idea of sort of what's out there that you need to have. And also it's Black Friday. So I'm hoping like, is there a Black Friday for compression? Because that's what I need. But anyway, I just wanted to let you know I'm super excited about it. Obviously, I'll let you know throughout the journey how things go. We're going to start with my lowers, and I can't wait to see her in January to kind of talk about what her plan is going to be for this now that I've lost this much weight, and also what we can do maybe to help with some of the skin sagging. I don't know. She doesn't use Vaser, which I understand is pretty great for like skin adhesion after something like this. But I think it's also about technique. And so I'm really hopeful that we're going to get some really great results. All right. Well, I hope you'll like and subscribe, hit the notification button. I'll definitely come back after I have my next discussion with her, with the doctor in January, and I will keep you updated as I get closer to surgery. Thanks. Bye.